Well, there was lineup from Beaudry to the government center when I came.
He's taking notes so much that let's get hundreds of photos on here. Anything to do with it.
Call to order our Sherburne County Board of Commissioners meeting for September 21st to order. Please rise for a moment of silence and the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. At this time, I'd be looking for an approval of our regular meeting proposed agenda. If there are any additions or subtractions, I'll hear them now.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Okay. Motion made by Commissioner Schmeezing,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Dolan. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Moving on to items on our consent agenda. Looking for a motion to approve items on the consent agenda as presented.
Madam Chair, I'll move approval as presented.
Motion made by Commissioner Dolan,
I'll second.
seconded by Commissioner Fobi. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Moving on to our announcements. What do we have? for
Thank you, Madam Chair,
announcements?
members of the commission. Just three quick announcements. First of all, a reminder, it's not on your agenda, but we are scheduling Thursday, the 23rd, a house bonding tour stop at St. Cloud State University at approximately 4:15 in the afternoon. For those of you who can make it, would appreciate it. And I'll be sending you more specific information as to room and location there. Second is just a note that the roof work is continuing. You'll see the equipment outside, but progressing pretty much on schedule. The rain didn't help, but I don't think we had any major issues. And then third, you'll notice the floor work in the lobby and the hallway coming to the boardroom is still underway. There's some significant issues that we're trying to address with that. And that's it for announcements.
We're happy for the rain.
Yes.
Indeed.
All right. Thank you. At this time, we will have our public hearing. Dan, are you going to introduce?
Yeah, I can.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and recuse
Okay.
myself from the boardroom for this.
Thank you, Commissioner Dolan.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm just going to give a brief overview of the application that we've received. Premier Marine is located in Wyoming, Minnesota, and would be relocating to their operations to Big Lake. They manufacture high-end pontoon performance boats. The project would construct a 151,000 square foot manufacturing facility and a 30,000 square foot shop, so about 180,000 square feet. Upon completion, the project would add about $10.6 million to the tax base with an annual property tax of $378,000. Of that, the county's portion is about $96,775. The request is a 15-year tax abatement for a total of $1,451,625 over the life of the agreement. The project would create 263 local jobs, including the relocation of 193 existing jobs and 70 new jobs to be created with the expanded space that they'd have at this facility. The county EDA was scheduled to review this last week. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic and quarantine rules, we did not have a quorum, so we did reschedule that meeting for September 28th. So we will not be making a recommendation today, but we still can have the public hearing at 9:05 to gather comments from the public.
All right. Any questions for Dan?
And it's only 9:04, so we do have to kill one more minute. The city of Big Lake did approve a 12-year tax abatement. They also applied for a tax abatement at the city level and at the county level.
Okay. And could you also, do you have the numbers as to what it adds to the tax base for the school district? I want to say it's like 98,000.
That is in your packet.
80,000.
80,000, thank you.
80,775.
So, and you're asking for a 15-year?
15-year, correct.
Okay.
All right. Okay, being as 9:05, if there are no further questions from the board, I would be looking to open the public hearing at 9:05. Anybody wishing to speak to this item, please rise, go to the podium. State your name. Second call.
Hello, my name is Brett Collier, Big Lake.
Hi, Brett.
Hi, I wasn't planning on speaking of this. I didn't know it was on the agenda, but I read about it in the newspaper today. The whole issue of tax abatement, that may help the person coming in, but that just means every other company, every other person who pays property taxes is going to be covering for this new entity for the next, 15 years. And I think that needs to be considered when we're talking about allowing for, because I know of a number of other companies that have come into Big Lake and so forth and gotten these abatements, and that's just hurting everyone who's already been there and established, because they're going to have to make up the tax base, and they're going to be paying more. Just my thought.
Okay, thank you, Brett, for your comments. Anybody else wishing to speak? Please rise, go to the podium, state your name.
Hello, my name is Kim Notting. I live in the city of Big Lake. I am an elected representative to the Big Lake City Council, and I'm here to speak on behalf of the approval of the abatement. I am looking at the fact that once they come into the city, they're looking to be like the third largest employer immediately, and potentially the first or the largest employer within a 5-year time span. I'm looking at this as an opportunity for economic growth for the city, for the area, more ability for high-paying jobs for people who live in the area, and actually a stimulation of economic activity is what I am hoping for. That would be the result. We need a little bit more of a balance between the residential and the commercial, retail, industrial side. We are extremely heavy with residential tax burden right now, and this is an opportunity to, if not push that a little bit in the other direction or balance it, it's an opportunity to stimulate some more economic growth in that area. People coming in, maybe hopefully more retail establishment, and also potentially more retail and commercial activity in the area by people who work at the plant and possibly then come to live in Big Lake. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents on the matter, and I respectfully ask that you guys would consider the approval of the tax abatement for Premier Marine. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you for your comments. Anybody else wishing to address the board? Second call. Anybody else wishing to address the board? Third and final. All right, seeing no one, then I will close the public hearing at 9:09. All right, Dan.
And then this will be brought to the EDA on the 28th, and then it'll be brought back to the county board on October 5th for action.
All right, thank you. Okay, at this time, we will move on to our open forum. Keisha, do we have anybody signed up for open forum?
Madam Chair, do we need to vote on the resolution from that public hearing?
No.
No? Okay.
We need to do
No,
something
I don't,
with it?
Just close the public hearing.
no,
yeah.
it was just closing the
Closed,
public
okay.
hearing. Yep,
The EDA was not able to forward a recommendation, so
Right.
we'll wait on the resolution. When we put the packet together, we still thought the EDA was going to meet Thursday morning.
yep, so we'll be doing that in October then. All right, thank you, Keisha. Okay, anybody signed up for public comment?
Yes, Madam Chair. First, we have James Bonin for the Second Amendment of Big Lake.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that everybody is aware of the public comment. Information to be presented to the board does not require action by the board. Personal attacks of kind, any against or another person or commissioner or employee are not allowed. And the time limit is 3 minutes per speaker with a maximum of 5 speakers per open forum. The time limit may be shortened or extended at the discretion of the board chair. That being said, we will be held to a timeline on this, so go ahead, J. Bob.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks for letting me speak again. I'm here to ask you to take up the issue of the Second Amendment resolution once again. The situation we're in as a country seems to be going against our rights, our freedoms. At the federal level, they're being attacked. At the state level, they've been attacked. We were 2 senators keeping the Second Amendment safe in our state. Our governor is not going to help protect it. It's kind of coming down to the county level. We have a sheriff that said he supports the Second Amendment fully, and I would just like you guys to do that too before it comes to our own front doors where we have to stop it. I appreciate all you guys do here. We have a lot of people in the county that have supported this resolution. I have a petition here that we've acquired over the summer that I'd like to give to you, and I'd just like once more to ask you to take up the issue of the resolution. This isn't just a resolution about this or that or some focus. This is about the Constitution of the United States, and I just think it's really important we all stand up for it, especially in this time we're in right now. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. You can give the petition to Keisha. Thank you. And who is next on?
Next, we have Dave Rogenkamp of St. Cloud, also speaking on the Second Amendment.
Welcome, Dave.
Good morning. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak a little bit. So I'm Dave Rogenkamp. I live at 5877 45th Avenue Southeast in Haven Township. A pretty famous politician at federal level, I think it was Tip O'Neill, said, you know, all politics are local. And I really do believe that. And I am here to talk about the Second Amendment, and I am here to talk about asking this board to support a resolution to have Sherburne County be a Second Amendment sanctuary. As the previous speaker stated, I also am very concerned about the direction that things are going in this country. The Bill of Rights, as part of our Constitution, is not a statement of rights that the government grants us. It is a statement of God-given natural rights that the government cannot take back or remove. I do believe that the Second Amendment is incredibly important for us to remain a free country. There is a growing movement, I think worldwide, that would like to disarm the population. And I guess you have to ask the question, why would that be? What are they so afraid of? Why would the millions of us who are peaceful, law-abiding, hardworking Americans, you know, that own firearms, that don't create any problems, don't cause any problems, we're not the people that burning down cities and all that, why would it be such a threat that we have firearms? And as the previous speaker said, it is getting very, very scary in terms of what's happening at a federal level. You know, the current administration is playing out, you know, that is on their mission, that's their mission, is to remove firearms from the population. Likewise, at a state level, our governor and the vast majority of the legislature is I think, on the same agenda, that for some reason, although we've been able to have firearms as a God-given right in this country for over 250-some years, that now all of a sudden it's a problem and they have to be removed. So again, all politics being local, I do believe that the county boards, of which many counties in this country have already done this, they've taken steps to assure that the county is taking a position that says the Second Amendment is a right. It is a God-given right. It is part of the Bill of Rights, and we will not tolerate having the government infringe on that. And so I respectfully ask this county board to get on board with that, pass this resolution, make it very clearly known that Sherburne County will not tolerate having our Second Amendment rights infringed on. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave, for your comments.
And next we have Brett Collier from Big Lake speaking on County Road 43 project.
Good morning again, Brett.
Good morning. Again, my name is Brett Collier. I'm from Big Lake. And I apologize, I had put together a PowerPoint so I could point at maps and so forth. I will email that and all the other information to you after this meeting. But I learned back in February that we're going to be rebuilding a portion of County Road 43 from Highway 10 up through the bridge. And back then I sent you some questions. In April, I participated in the survey that was online for people to put their questions and concerns in. And this last August, I received a copy of everyone's survey results. In those results, there were 29 comments made from 12 plus people. Of these 29 comments, 16 of them mentioned the roundabout. 11 were against it, 5 were for it. 3, you can't tell. They mentioned it, but they didn't really tell if they were for it or not. Speaking to the assistant county engineer, for all the comments that came in, no changes were made to the proposed design based upon comments. So, or changes to either the roundabout or any of the other options in there. So that makes me question, were these comments solicited, but they were solicited, but apparently not even considered? And who ultimately approves the design for this portion of County Road 43? Is it you, the commissioners, or the county engineer, or I don't know? Safety. The county engineer told me that roundabouts are supposed to be safe, but the document that he provided me, showing me about how roundabouts are safe, this is all sorts of roundabouts. We're talking about a mini roundabout. It's not going to be a big one, is what's being proposed in there. And in addition to that, if back in May 13th, KSTP did a story on a roundabout in our neighbor town Champlin, where there are all sorts of accidents occurring. So in what I will send you, it has a link so you can see that story as well. I wanted to give you some potential solutions as to what to do for the traffic problems that we have at that roundabout area where County Road 43 and Glenwood cross, because people go through there. It gets awfully crowded in the mornings and the afternoons for Liberty School. 3 options. The first one would be simply station a Big Lake police officer there to direct the traffic based upon flow in the directions. The last 2 options are based upon the principle that we should only be making right-hand turns. Second option is when you're at the elementary school, the parents and the buses that are leaving there, they should only go east. And then once you get to 172nd, 172nd, you go right, you go down County Road and go the other way. The other option is when you leave the elementary school, you go Glenwood, you're not allowed to turn left or straight, you have to go right. Then you go to that middle lane, you can take that other side road and come down, making right-hand turns to wherever you want. That will alleviate congestion, and that can be done now.
All right.
So,
Thank you, Brett, for your comments.
yep, sorry.
We'll make sure that the engineer gets them. All right, thank you. Anyone else, Keisha?
That is everybody, Madam Chair, unless there's anybody else that is in the audience that did not sign up.
Okay. Anybody else in the audience wishing to address the board? Please go to the podium, state your name. How are we doing? Left, yeah.
Greg Filber, Orac Township. Address a little bit on the Second Amendment. Wasn't going to speak this morning, but I changed my mind. The question frequently comes up, why do we have these resolutions for the Second Amendment and we're not worried about the other portions of the Bill of Rights? What it really boils down to is, of all these rights that the founders thought were inalienable, absolutely guaranteed to us, and they wanted to ensure the government could not encroach upon them, which is the purpose of the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, There are no organized efforts to remove the other ones. We don't have organizations that are trying to take away your right to speak in public. We don't have organizations that are trying to take away your freedom of religion. We do not have organized political groups that are, for instance, trying to take away the right for women to vote, which wasn't guaranteed necessarily originally, and we had to have an amendment for that. So that's really the primary reason why the Second Amendment needs additional protections, because of all those inalienable rights. It's the only one that is under any sort of organized attack in the modern age. Frequently, the question comes up, would these types of resolutions even be constitutional? And that's always really a great question. And you can gather up lawyers, and you can get opinions from both sides. One lawyer will say it is, another lawyer will say it's not. One of the great things we should always keep in mind about attorneys is that if all the attorneys in the country would agree on the constitutionality of any particular statute, ordinance, or resolution, the Supreme Court would have nothing to do. So passing something like this would be still, I think, a great benefit for the citizens of Sherburne County, and be a very positive thing towards not just the preservation of the Second Amendment rights, but a declaration that we will not allow any infringement on the constitutional rights that citizens enjoy now. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. All right, anybody else? Okay, seeing nobody, I will then close the open forum comment period of our meeting. And at this time, we will be looking to recess this meeting to attend to some other business, and we will be coming back when that business is done. So this meeting is recessed. We will reconvene our regular board meeting of September 21st, 2021. We are now on item number 6 on the agenda, Commissioners' Correspondence and Committee Reports. Who's ready to start? Thank you, Lisa. Commissioner Phobie.
I participated in the MICA meeting. I had an AMC Futures meeting. I had a Soil and Water Committee meeting, board meeting. The Princeton Airport met. AMC Fall Policy Conference. The SUP Coalition meeting. And then TRICAP Executive meeting. And I mentioned before Dr. Lee leaving from Central Minnesota Mental Health. We're starting the search for his position.
Perfect, thank you.
And a bonding tour. Senate bonding tour.
I'll start with the Senate bonding tour. Metropolitan Emergency Services Board in St. Paul on the 8th, along with the MICA Executive Committee meeting same day, and MICA regular meeting that day. And then several meetings with NCIT for replacing our executive director and other conference meetings. And that's all that I have, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Smeezing. Commissioner Dolan.
Mine is just AMC Fall Policy Conference. Most of my are this week, so.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Brandt.
On the 13th, I listened in on the AMC breakfast with the county engineers. And on the 15th, I went to the Fair Board meeting, conference. And then the 20th, I went to the extension meeting. And today, and I was at the event just.
The bonding tour event. Right. Thank you, Commissioner Brandt. September 8th, I had a strategic plan group workshop. And the 9th, an APO board meeting in St. Cloud. On the 13th, I attended a Zoom meeting with the IGA stakeholders, which had to do with the information on the White House COVID-19 mandate update. And the 14th, Sherburne County Community Corrections Advisory Board. And also on that same day, I attended the Nystrom's Residential Treatment Facility open house in Big Lake. The facility is very, very nice. They were ready to open that this last Monday. And the 15th through the 17th, attended the AMC Fall Policy Conference and squeezed a Zoom meeting in there on the 16th with a local issue for the city of Big Lake. That was it on that. Okay, moving on then, some adjustment to the regular agenda. Can I get a motion to table the Central Mississippi River Regional Planning Partnership update to our next meeting?
Madam Chair, I'll move tabling that.
Motion made by Commissioner Dolan,
I'll second.
seconded by Commissioner Smeezing. Any further discussion? And we are doing this for the sake of time of this meeting. Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries, and you will bring that back then. Thank you. At this moment in time, I will be adjourning our regular meeting to open our Community Health Board meeting. Nicole,
Good morning.
good morning.
I have just some quick updates from the Public Health Division, and then I'll do another quick update on COVID. So Public Health Division, we've been working on our assessment and planning process, and our data books are soon to be released for public review. Benton County has led the way in helping to tabulate all of our data from our local survey, and those will be ready in the next month or so. We continue to move forward with the planner position and have many of those details in writing now, and hope to move forward with that in the near future. We have changed some supervision from some of the public health staff. So Tammy, the public health unit supervisor, had been supervising our First Steps collaborative staff, and those will be moving under me as of October 1st. And we've also scaled back on our core group of COVID response staff, and so we have realigned the duties and assigned them out so our core staff really can concentrate on the COVID response, and other staff can prioritize the other work that had been suspended while we were all in the response mode. For the Health Promotions Unit, WIC continues to do virtual visits, whether phone or video. We do offer in-person, but most consumers have not taken us up on that in-person visit. There were some recent trainings with local faith communities through STIR and SHIP, and they really had a good response. There was a lot of congregations that sent members to attend and talk about what mental well-being looks like in their parishes or their congregation. And then there was some follow-up meetings where they invited different partners to come in, including myself. We talked about some of the local data, and they're working on plans to now implement what well-being looks like in their faith community. So pretty exciting there. And an additional COVID grant dollars for our public health emergency preparedness has been allocated. The number has not been finalized, but it's $534,000 was the estimated amount. And that would be extended for us to use until December of 2023 for a total of $1.1 to $535 million for COVID response for local public health. For our public health unit, we still have a couple of public health nurses out on leave, and we will be hiring for a vacant position. We did do interviews last week and hope to move forward with our top candidate. For home visiting, MESH's trainings completed, and staff are resuming in-home visits. They do those outdoors when possible, but they have also been doing in-home visits, and that's been going well. And then just an update on child and teen checkups. We are still waiting for confirmation about what integrated health systems are opting in to the outreach component that had been 100% allocated to local public health in the past. This would take effect in July, but we still haven't been updated on who is opting in. So once we find that out, we'll know what our allocation funds for July through January are for 2022. Any questions on those updates?
Any questions, Commissioners
Or
Mazian?
just quick, what was your application pool like for your nursing
5.
5? You used to have 50.
Yes, it was a little bit narrow. Some other local counties for candidates and then healthcare system.
Yeah.
For COVID updates, I wish I had better news, but our August final numbers were 655 cases, and as of September 14th, we were already at 497. So certainly seeing an increase in cases. The biggest age group percentage that we're seeing is that 30 to 39 years, and then good news that our 0 to 17 year age group is only at 15%, but really a small difference in those. Breakthrough cases are still less than 1%. For Sherburne County, it's around 0.8%, so that's pretty consistent with where that is in the state. And for schools, they continue to have cases, but not at the capacity that puts them on the list, so 5 within a building in a 2-week period. We'll continue to monitor those, but we are working really closely with the school nurses and trying to mitigate and identify cases and help them make sure that the school is as safe as it can be. For long-term care and assisted living, we do have a couple of agencies on the list that have had recent cases. Those are listed on the situation update. Keller Lake Commons, St. Ben Senior Community, and Talahi were on the list this last week. And then the COVID dashboard is updated Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you are following that, you will note that sometimes the numbers do jump up and jump back down as we clarify if they really are in Sherburne County, as well as if it's a pending case or a confirmed case. So just be aware of those changes. So locally, we are continuing to see a high level of transmission, much like the rest of the state. We're kind of in the middle of the pack for Sherburne County now. Many are ahead of us, many are behind us. You can break this down by zip code as well. Our highest hit areas right now are the Big Lake area when we look at zip code data for a high level of transmission. The positivity rate, so the percentage of tests that are coming back positive, for the state average, it's about 7%. For Sherburne County and CentraCare Hospital, we're a little bit higher at 9.77 and 10.6, so those are in the last 7 days. And hospitalizations have certainly been up as well. Statewide, we're in the red, so certainly more of a high-risk situation. And we alone, just in the last 7 days, had 8 new hospitalizations. The good news is many of those folks are discharged, and we haven't seen the death count rise as quickly as some others. But in September thus far, we've had 5 confirmed cases and 1 pending. And in August, we had a total of 2, and then before that, we only had 1 in May. So certainly seeing more in September, but not as many as some places are. And then for overall vaccination rates, this is for the 16-plus population. You know, we've hit the 50% plus mark. When I updated in July, we were about 45%, so we have seen gains, although it's certainly slow. But again, we've got gains. We still lag behind the statewide average, and we'd like to continue to get a little closer to that 70%. But we're doing our best to engage and ask our community members what information they need, if it's access, if it's healthcare providers informing, a variety of strategies to help engage those folks. When we look at it broken down by age, we can certainly see that we've done a really good job with the 65-plus population. We're right at the state average and really not too far behind in the 50 to 64 range. We do see some pretty good gaps in that 12 to 15 range and the 16 and 17-year-olds. We were able to hold a couple of events at school open houses, and we did have minimal participation. We're hoping to pick up a few more. We're going to go back and do a second dose and then also offer new vaccination to anyone interested here this month. And when we look at our most vulnerable areas by zip code, our St. Cloud area is one of those that is at highest risk for complications. We're doing pretty well at 55% there. Elk River seems to be leading the way, though, at 69%, so that's great progress as well. In July, we had some still in the 40s, so again, progress is made, although it may be a little bit slow. And then just some general COVID information. There was an opportunity to opt in for some additional incentive funds available through the Department of Health, and those funds are available through ARPA at the state level. So we did submit that we were interested. I haven't gotten an approval from MDH or an allotted amount at this time, but that would give us the opportunity to offer incentives here locally through the month of December. And this funding actually gives us a little more flexibility. We have an opportunity to use local vendors or providers, so it doesn't have to just be a Visa gift card. And so we'll work with fiscal to find out what's the most easily managed to do that should we get allocated some funds. We did see that Sherburne County took advantage of it in August, and so with that information, we decided to opt in and see how we might be able to entice a few more to get vaccinated. The Pfizer booster was preliminarily approved for those 65 plus and those at high level or high risk of severe disease. They're waiting for the final approval before we can roll that out. Johnson & Johnson and Moderna are expected to also submit theirs in the coming weeks for kind of a similar approval. It is a different category of boosters, though, than had initially been proposed. The proposal initially had been for all of those 8 months after their series completed. So it looks a little bit different now, but really focusing on a 65 plus and those at high risk. For third doses, so those that are moderate to severely immunocompromised, we are offering those here. But what we've heard is that most people are going through their healthcare system. The healthcare system has reached out to many that qualify, and they've been opting in to do that at the health system. There's a new app available called Docket, and that will give Minnesotans access to their immunization record. We've had an influx of calls with people who have lost their card or are needing to show vaccination proof, so this really eases the burden on local partners to provide that information to our community. Testing has also been a discussion, definitely more need as we've seen cases rise. There are 11 state sites. One that's closest to us is in St. Cloud. And then local providers still are testing, but it may be a little bit more difficult to get an appointment, and they may not be as accessible on weekends or evenings. So the state sites really have more options for our community members.
Nicole?
Yeah.
I have a question. Are you aware, are some of the local pharmacies still providing those testing opportunities as well?
They are,
Okay.
but many are appointment only, and it's not same day.
Perfect.
And for vaccine, we've really been told to continue to focus on the unvaccinated and our hard-to-reach populations. So this afternoon, we are collaborating with CentraCare about mobilizing the bus in the St. Cloud area, and we'll see where some of those opportunities take us. We've given over 16,000 here by local public health. We offer routine clinics on Tuesdays from 9 to noon for COVID and other immunizations, so that's always a stable. And then any off-site are listed on the website, and we've been trying to promote them in different venues. Any questions on that information?
Any questions for Nicole? Yes, Commissioner Smeezing.
Quick one. You said on the breakthrough cases, what was that number? Very small.
0.8%.
8%.
So less than 1%, yeah.
You know, and I think that's great, but I also think that it might not be, there may be quite a few people that have breakthrough cases that don't get very sick at all, that don't recognize it, and probably are never tested. So either way, the vaccine is working, right?
Correct. Yeah, I agree. I think we still don't have a great scope of what this really looks like because of the lack of testing and lack of symptoms for many folks.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
Great report. Appreciate that. Okay, at this time, then we will adjourn our Community Health Board meeting, and we will go into a short recess to come back and reconvene our workshop. Are we going to be doing the workshop in the back?
Yeah, the computer's up here.